Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Go back to our box class. So here you can see that the first one is default constructor, and the next one is parameter constructor calling. Let us take our example which we have used, like box 1 we have created, and then we are trying to create a box 2 object by using box 1 reference. At that time it was pointing to the same object in the memory. This is our box 1. This is our box 2, and it was pointing to same box object in the memory. Box object. So in this case, whatever the dimensions, let us say we have given the dimensions as 3, 4, 5. Let us say we don't want the box 2 also pointing to the same reference, and we want to create a separate box, but we want the dimensions, we want the same dimensions from box 1 object. So you have already created one box object. Box 1 you have created with the dimensions 3, 4, 5, but here we don't want to process in this way because it won't create a separate object in the memory. It will just copy the reference, or it will point the reference to existing object itself. Let us say we want to create the box 2 also 3, 4, 5, or taking dimensions from box 1. So in that case, what we can do, we can just go to our client code we have already created, or else let us write one more class. Class duplicate box. I'm just copying the existing code. Now I want to create a box 2 object. So currently I have created a box 2 object, but the dimensions, what the client is telling, the client is asking take the dimensions from existing box 1. So we have second constructor available. Here you can see that I'm using the default constructor and I'm passing the data. So this time I want to use the second constructor, which accepts 3 parameters: long, depth, height, and width. So take those 3 variables: box 1 dot depth, box 1 dot height, box 1 dot width. So when you call box 1 dot depth, you'll be going to get the actual value for the box. See, currently we have the access to these 3 variables as direct data, that's fine. But let us say if we don't have the direct access, if you don't have access to these variables directly, then what we are supposed to do? See, in this case, if you go and call the calculate volume method, at all if you want, we can just go and check that one first. Volume 2, volume 2. Let us go and execute the code, then we'll change. So now you can see that you have constructed the first object, and once after that, you have created a box with the same dimensions as that of box 1 by taking the dimensions from box 1 object, and then you are executing the volume method, and you can see that you are able to get the same value for both the methods. But let us say we don't have access to these variables, and you already know that the box object is not interested to provide the data like this, or else you can see that the box object is interested to write one more constructor which accepts directly a box object. See, you have a box object available like this. Five, 10, 15. So previously what you had done, you just took the values from the box 1, took the values or the variables from the box 1 object, and you have passed to the constructor. But this time, I don't want to pass the variable separately, and I want to pass the box object itself directly to the constructor. So what I am doing, I'm just taking the entire box object, and then I'm asking the box class to create one more box object based on these dimensions. So whatever the data that you are sending now, here you are sending by dividing the data and passing it to the box class. But currently we don't want to send the data. We don't want to send the data individually, and I just want to pass the data as an object. By using methods, you can send primitive data types, and you can also send objects as well. Until now, we have seen how to accept the parameter in terms of primitive data types. Here you have seen the primitive data types. Just like the same way, you can also send objects as well as a parameter. So currently you are sending this as a formal parameter, and here you are accepting the box as a actual argument. Now you got the data. So what you can do, you can just retrieve the information however you have passed, copy, and then you can store it to your new box. Whenever you will refer to this, it will be going to refer to the current object. From our duplicate box, we are calling new box object. So new means we are asking to create memory. We are asking the JVM to allocate memory, and then we are specifying to call the constructor which accepts a box 1 object. Box 1, what is the data type for box 1? The data type is box. So the call will then JVM will identify, are there any constructors which accepts a box object? Yes, there is a constructor available. Once after creating the object, what is the purpose of constructor? The purpose of constructor is to initialize the object immediately after the object creation. So whatever the object it has created, let us say it has created a new box object in the memory. Now it has created new box object in the memory. And once after creating the box object, we are supposed to assign the default values, or else you have the option of specifying or initializing the data by using your constructor. So currently for the new object, what I am doing, I'm taking the data from the existing object 5, 10, and 15, and I'm preparing my new object. That's what I'm doing at this level. The right side, getting the information from existing object, and I'm assigning it to my new box. That's what I'm doing at this level. So that means you can also pass objects as references to your method parameters or constructor parameters. So here you can see that I have 3 different constructors. The first one which accepts 3 long variables, second one doesn't accept anything, and the third one which accepts a box object. Just a second. That's what I have mentioned, Vijay. If we say box2 equal to box1, it will be going to point the reference to the existing object. It won't create a new box object or new allocation in the memory. If you print the object now, the box2 object, it contains a different memory allocation representation. And in case of box1, it contains a different memory allocation. But you say box2 equal to box1, it will be going to use the same object, and it won't create a new object in the memory. Pass by value and pass by reference. This is also the related topic with respect to our method parameters and actual parameters. So let us take a scenario first. Let us say you are declaring 2 variables, or else let me directly go and write in the Eclipse. Let me comment all the different methods, or else I don't want to call the remaining methods. I'll just call only integer method 10, 20. Declare 2 variables for our understanding, int a equal to 10. Pass by value. Just take this method code, now with respect to our class, create an object, pass by value PBV, new pass by value, and then PBV dot add method. I'll be going to create 2 integers, int a equal to 10, and then int b equal to 20. Int c equal to return value plus c. Let us say this will be going to return the value as well. Let us go and execute the code, and then we'll modify that. So addition of 2 integers, 30, and the return value is 30. So as expected, this is fine. But here, as you can see, the method accepts two parameters which are a comma b. So these parameters are local parameters for add method. But here in static void main, in main method also, I have declared two variables which are having the same names a comma b. The parameters, whatever that you have specified here, and the parameters you have specified at add method, they are entirely different. These are local variables to add method, and these two are local variables to add to main method. So when you pass the data, when you call pbv.add method, here you are calling the add method and you are passing some data. So during the execution, the data will be going to replace here add of 10 comma 20, and then it will be going to call this particular method. So that means the data whatever that you have sent here will be copied to the variables a and b at your add method level. See, the reason why I have used the same parameter names at two different methods is only for my understanding purpose. This method accepts two parameters a comma b, and I'm trying to pass those same parameters. That's what my understanding. But when you have sent the data or when you have called the data by passing some parameters, the data will be going to copy to your actual arguments. In that sense, when you send 10 comma 20, the data will, how Java will execute this? Add of 10 comma 20 you are calling. So what Java will do? Java will go and create two local variables 10 a and b, and then it will be going to copy the data 10 and 20 to a comma b values. But here you are sending the data with respect to two different arguments. Those are formal arguments. So in case of primitive data types, so here these two are primitive data types. In case of primitive data types, Java uses pass by value, which means it will be going to copy the data from from formal parameters to actual parameters. So these are formal parameters and these are actual parameters. So that means copy in the sense, let us write one more diagram. See, let us say we are working on a same class and I'm not going to design the class first and I'm directly working on the method. Okay, so in my main method, I have two different variables now, a comma b. A comma b. A consists of 10 value, b consists of 20 value. This is my a and this is my b. Let us assume this is my main method. And on top of that, now what we are calling one more method, which is add method. So this is our add method. And in our add method also we have two variables, a comma b. These names also a and b. When you say or when you call this method, the data whatever that you have sent, 10 comma 20. So the 10 comma 20, it will be going to copy to actual parameters. So here the a and b holds now 10 comma 20. So the data will just copy to the actual parameters. There won't be any reference between these two variables. So that means there won't be any reference between a comma b at the caller level or execution method level. In the sense, whenever you are passing some primitive data types, so here you are passing primitive data type only. So the primitive data type follow a pattern called pass by value, which means the data will be just copied to actual parameters, and whatever the changes that you made, that you perform on the arguments won't affect in the method caller. Which means, let us say you are changing the data at this level for a comma b. Let us say currently it was 10 comma 20, and you are trying to change these values to 20 comma 30. But the data change that you have made to A or B, it was only effective until the method execution has completed. It won't reflect back the caller at all. So let us say I'm not going to take a third variable. I'm just going to use arithmetic assignment operator, which means our A will be going to contain the result now. So now the value of A will be 30. So during the return value, see, this is a return value, which means I can send an integer back to the caller. So now our C will be going to contain the 30 value. But what about our A value at this level? Let us go and print the A value also. Method execution started. The value is 10 comma 20 passed here, 10 20. Now we are performing the addition operation. 10 plus equal to 20, which will use arithmetic addition operation, and the A value is now 30. So value of A is 30 now, and it has returned the value 30 back to the caller. So now the value of C will be 30. You can see that the return value has 30, it has printed. But what about the changes that you made to the actual parameter or the method parameter? Will it be going to reflect back to the caller which has passed the data? No. In case of primitive data type, it will just copy the data to actual argument, and it won't make any reference, or there won't be any effect to the parameters whatever that you have made at the method level. So that means here you have changed the value of A equal to 30, but here when I have printed, you can see the value of A is still holding at 10 only. The value of 10 which is available from the local variable. So whatever the changes that you made at the method level, it won't affect back to the caller method level. The pass by value mechanism, it will only apply to primitive data type. The next one is pass by reference. You might be already able to understand by looking at the name itself, reference. Reference means here we are only talking about objects. See, we have learned about box 1, box 2 equal to box 1. What happens when we are using box 2 and box 1? When we are trying to assign the box 1 objects to box 2, it will just copy the reference and it will make it available to box 2 object. So that means the same object in the memory is available for both box 1 and box 2. We have already seen about integer copy, integer A equal to 10 and integer B equal to A. So in this case, it will create 2 different copies, and whatever the changes that you made on B, it won't affect back to A. That's what the same scenario followed by the primitive passing. In case of pass by reference, it uses object reference to be passed to the actual argument, which means whatever the changes that you made on the box 2. See, previously we have seen this case. When you made some changes on box 2, you are able to see those changes on box 1. The reason is both the references are pointing to the same object. That's also the same case with respect to method passing, arguments passing or objects passing in case of parameters. So let us create one more example. Pass by reference. So currently I am writing one method, public void set array data, which accepts a integer array. Just now only we have seen our constructor accepting some object, the box object. In the same way, our method also can access, or our methods also can accept any type of objects. As we haven't learned any kind of collections or other kind of stuff, I'm just making use of the integers array only. Array is also a part of object. So once after that, I'm setting the data into a of 2 equal to 20, a of 3 equal to 30, a of 1 equal to 10, a of 0 equal to 5. So this method, the set array data, it will just take the array and set 4 parameters. From my main method, I'll be going to create an array object, PBR, new PBR, and I'm going to create one array object, integer, ARR equal to new array of 4. New integer of 4. Once after that, I'm calling the method set array data to populate the ARR. Now I'm trying to see whether ARR contains the data or not. So I'm just calling array of 2. Passing objects passing between the methods, they will use pass by reference. Pass by reference means, let us go and write. Oh, are you guys able to hear my voice?
Yes, Krish, but it got cut in between, but now it's fine.
Okay. Okay, create an object, array object you have created, which accepts 4 integers. This is your array object, and in your main method, you got a reference. So this is your reference, which is pointing to your array object. So now you are calling a method. You are calling a method called set array data and passing this array. But in case of objects, it will just pass the reference, or you can say pointer kind of stuff, which will be going to pass to your a variable. So currently you got one more variable, which is a. So now you have both the references pointing to your array object. If you want, you can print the array object and you can see whether it is pointing to the same memory location or not. Now you are working on the same object and you are setting the data of 5, 10, 20, and 30. Five, 10, 20, and 30. So this was set using A. This is your array. Once after the method has completed, once after the method execution has completed, you already know that the local variable will be going to destroy by your JVM, which means this reference got deleted now. But still, there is one other reference which is from your main method. This is still existed. So the data, whatever that you have prepared with respect to a variable, a reference, was still holding by ARR variable or reference. Now when you print the data with respect to array of 2, it will be going to read the data from the same location or from the same object, and then it will be going to print the data. Let us go and verify, then we'll take a look at it. So here you can see that array contains the data 20. So the data 20 set we haven't done at our method level, at our main method level. It was done at our set array data level, and you can see that the array a variable, it is not at all an instance variable which can be shared between two different methods. It is just like a local variable, but still it is an object. That's why you are able to work on the same reference, same object by using the reference copy, and you are able to perform the data changes at different method. So this is called as pass by reference. So in Java, primitive data types uses pass by value, and objects uses pass by reference to pass the data between the method calls. See, ultimately we need to call different methods from our main method, or we want the collaboration between the methods, then only we can work on all the operations. So if you want to work on the same object between the method calls, then it's not required for you to send back and forth those data. So here I'm not at all sending the data also back to the caller method. Take 5 minutes break. I'll be going to start at 9:15 or 9:16. Meanwhile, if you guys have any doubts, you can just go ahead.
Krish?
Yep.
This is Vijay. In the previous example, you had that method. You had that you were passing as box1 as a parameter, right?
Method over, that is our box. Where
you were reading the parameter values.
Yeah, duplicate box.
Yeah. Here you are passing box as a parameter to
constructor.
A constructor, yeah. So at time, are you passing the reference of the box one?
Yeah, correct.
So that time, when by mistake there, if we are setting some value there, the box one also gets affected, right?
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, it will be going to affect if you are changing on box 1 level.
But if I change anything in the box 2, it will not affect box 1.
If you change anything?
The box 2, after calling the reference, I passed box 1 as a reference to that. When it came back, box 2 has got all the values of box 1. If I change anything in the box 2, it will not affect the box 1, right?
Yeah, because you have created altogether a different memory location. Right?
Okay. maybe I have another trivial small question. So when we previously said box 2 is equal to box 1, do we need to use a new operator to create the box 2, or we can say box 2 is equal to box 1?
No, it's mainly depend on our requirement, whether you want to copy the box from the existing one or whether you want to create altogether a new box.
Assume that initially the 2 days back when you gave an example.
So that one is related to copying the box from existing object.
Yeah. When we say box 2, that time do we need to really say new of box, or just we can say box 2 is equal to box 1?
See, whenever you say new means it will be going to allocate the memory on the JVM. So that's what I'm telling. If at all, if your requirement is creating a new box, then go and use new operator. If you want to copy from the existing one, then you will go and use the existing creation, which means box 2 equal to box 1, which means it will be going to use the existing box details reference and will be going to copy to box 2.
So after this current line, whatever you have, 15, 20, 30, if I say box 2 is equal to box 1, what happens to the memory?
This one will be going to hang in the memory.
Okay.
Yeah, Adil, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just a little confused with now in this particular scenario. If we go to the box demo, it only appears that it doesn't have the main string, and the way that
which class?
So if we go to the box.java.
Okay.
So in here we don't have the main method. We are doing overloads with constructors.
Okay.
Now when we go to the last one that we were performing, it looks like you basically did call the same class, and you're referencing through the same class into the same method. I don't understand the purpose of doing this. I mean, can we not just directly pick set array data ARR and do everything without calling PBR?
That I'll explain in a minute. It needs one another concept, so I'll cover that concept and I'll explain this. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah. Let me know if there are any other doubts with respect to. Yep.
This is Vijay. Again, here in the same method, whatever we have, maybe it's an extension to Adil's question. Now, after calling pbr.setArray data, your array has a data. Now, assume I have a method here to add numbers, which takes the parameters.
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website h2kinfosys.com. On our website h2kinfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020 337 17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.